Hey, how's it going? It's Sam Frost here, back with some more digital marketing advice. Now, in today's video, I want to talk about a lesson that can be learned from some of Google's recent updates, how they've affected niche site owners, bloggers, whatever you want to call it, digital publishers. So long story short, back in late 2023, Google rolled out something called the Helpful Content Update, which had a huge impact on a lot of digital information sites, digital publishers, whatever you want to call them, niche site bloggers. There's a whole lot of different terms, but basically people who are creating websites to get traffic from Google search, usually for information keywords like where is the best place to visit in New York, or how to make lunch with a capsicum, all those kind of things, you know, how to stop your dog from barking, all those types of searches that you probably make yourself in different contexts on a daily basis. And you've probably Googled something, clicked on a blog link in the past that shows up, go through to a website, and you see a recipe that's got 5,000 words of introduction and tons of ads crammed onto the page, or a travel blog where you have to scroll past tons of ads to see the content. That sort of thing. Basically, Google came along late last year and did a lot of damage to a lot of sites operating this model with their Helpful Content Update that instead prioritized a lot of user-generated content, so forums, Reddit posts, or Reddit threads, YouTube videos, and so on in search. The idea being, from Google's perspective, that so many bloggers, digital publishers were using AI tools to just create screeds and screeds of pretty unhelpful content, and so user-generated content was kind of considered to be more trustworthy. That's a topic for a different time, but I'll come to that on a later date. Long story short, that rolled out, there was big impacts. I do some digital publishing on the side as a bit of a hobby. One of my hobby sites was absolutely crushed by this update. I think it's helpful content. Obviously, I'm a bit biased, but a lot of good sites got rolled up in this process as well. Now, fast forward to March, and Google rolled out another update. They call it their March 2024 core update, and that's like a big update to Google's algorithm. It's still in process, rolling through at the time of recording this video, and lots of digital publishers have had even worse impacts. So, seeing their sites completely de-indexed or removed from Google basically saying, hey, we think you're creating AI spam or mass content spam. It's low value, even if the sites are not being de-indexed. 75, 80, 90% reduction in traffic, basically all visibility disappearing from search. Now, what I'm not going to do in this video is talk through how you could recover from this from a blogging or digital publisher perspective. I'm not really so fast on that side of things. This channel is not about digital publishing or blogging. There's more than enough channels about that. But what I do want to talk about is what this whole scenario means for, say, real world business owners who are operating business websites. You've got a cafe and you've got a website for your cafe, or you run a law practice and you've got a website for your law firm. What do you need to consider? Well, the key thing to consider is kind of a couple of points actually. One is that this update and the Helpful Content Update, at least so far, don't seem to have had too much of an impact on real world businesses, particularly local businesses, from what I've gathered. So this has really been targeted more at kind of digital publishing, where the objective is to drive a lot of traffic to a website, not to sell a product or service, but generally to get eyeballs on a site so that you can show display ads, banner ads, or maybe get people to click off to affiliate links. It's a very different business model. So that aspect to it, but more important than that is the kind of moral of the story. And that is, if you actually apply a sort of business lens to, say, digital information publishing or niche blogging, whatever you want to call it, as a business model, it's actually a pretty terrible business model. And it's a pretty terrible business model for a simple reason. A lot of niche site publishers, bloggers were hugely, almost completely dependent on Google for providing their traffic. And that's like operating a business where you have one supplier, or operating a business where you have one customer. All of your eggs are in one basket. If all of your website traffic comes from Google search, and that's how you get all of your customers in effect, whether those customers are buying your service or you're showing them ads and making money off that audience, that's a very risky position to be in, because what if Google changes its algorithm and overnight, literally overnight, with no way of complaining about it, or at least no way of complaining about it that might have any impact, no recourse, no way of fixing the problem from your end, you can just have your whole business taken away from you. And this has happened to a lot of people. I've followed people on Twitter, X, whatever it's called now, LinkedIn, Reddit threads, who have had 5, 6, sometimes even 7-figure businesses destroyed pretty much overnight by some of these Google updates. And that's because all their eggs were in one basket, in effect. Now, for a real world business, what that means from a marketing perspective is kind of how are you structured in the same regard? Does all of your business come from organic Google search, at least all of your website traffic? Is all of it coming from Google Ads? Is all of it coming from running a meta ads funnel with a cold awareness campaign and a retargeting campaign and a lead gen campaign at the bottom of the funnel? What happens if Meta bans you from advertising? It's happened to me several times in the past. It's taken ages to get back on the platform. Is that disastrous for your business, or is it just an inconvenience or a problem, but something that is not actually an existential threat to the survival of your business? So I think there's a really key lesson to learn out of these Google updates and how they've affected some businesses, these digital publishers, niche site bloggers, where fundamentally, even if they're making great money, the business model is pretty terrible because there's so much risk in it. And you can apply that same kind of thought process or logic to how you market your own business. Are you totally dependent on one channel, one tactic to drive customers for your business? Or are you actually in a position where it's relatively diversified? So if you disappeared out of Google search tomorrow, you could still be getting traffic and leads and sales from social media, or word of mouth turning into website traffic that's coming directly, navigating to your site, or email marketing. There's so many different channels and tactics you can try. That's not really the focus of this video. The key thing is that diversification aspect though, because yeah, if you're playing in somebody else's sandpit, Google's sandpit, Meta's sandpit, LinkedIn, whatever the case may be, and something goes wrong and a rule changes, or some rogue AI says you've broken a rule with the content you've posted, we're going to ban you, which happens way more than you might like to think, that could be the end of your business. This is a sad lesson that I think a lot of digital publishers are learning the really, really hard way, is your business is kind of only as good to some extent as the weakest link, and if you've only got one link for your business, it's inherently weak. And so you need to be really cautious of this and have a good understanding of kind of how diversified your marketing is, and do you have the ability to pivot to other channels relatively quickly if something goes wrong with that key one for your business. So if you've got any questions on this, please do let me know. You can leave a comment below, email me on info@samfrost.co.nz. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.